Today's guest is the second member from his family to don the green and white in the past 5 years. And while his brother's biggest asset was his skating from the back end, this guy's a forward who prefers to dissect the opposition with his smarts and his sneaky good skills. Please welcome second-year forward and Summerside native, Carson MacKinnon. Carson, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Carson, I want to go back to your minor hockey days to start off. And if you look at your 99 group, pretty strong group. You had yourself, played four and a half years in the Q. Jeremy McKenna becomes the Summerside sniper and torments opposition in the Q League for all his time playing in the coast right now. You look at Brody MacArthur, all-time record scoring in the Maritime Hockey League. Throw in a pretty good 2000 guy and some kid named Noah Dobson who's doing all right, making his way in the hockey world. That's a pretty special group of players that came out of that 2-year period. And when you look back on it, what kind of made you guys click, or what kind of made you guys the group that you were?
I don't really think there's a certain thing that made us click. I think being friends, right from when we started minor hockey, definitely helped. And not many people know this, but all four of us live in the same neighborhood, so we're all within minutes of each other.
Sure.
So
the odd street hockey game.
Yeah, it's the odd street hockey game. But we did everything together growing up.
Yeah.
Jeremy actually moved to Summerside, I want to say in our Adam year, because his family owned a restaurant in Charlottetown and they moved it to Summerside. So I knew him throughout spring hockey with Riptide beforehand. But once he moved to Summerside, he definitely helped out our minor hockey quite a bit.
For sure.
But yeah, as I said, just doing everything together. It wasn't always hockey, playing video games, golfing, playing football in the backyard, soccer.
Were you always competitive?
Yeah, sometimes we got a little out of hand with each other, but in the end, we always knew it was for goodwill.
Sure. So if you look at minor hockey, coaching often plays a big part of influencing players. And I remember watching you guys back in Adam and Pee Wee, and I was always impressed at the way you guys played as a cohesive unit. And that obviously has to come from coaching. And if I think about that time, I think of a guy who was a constant in your life growing up as a guy like Rodney MacArthur. And can you maybe talk about the influence of coaches had on you guys growing up at that time?
Yeah, Rodney did a lot for us. He's still a big part of our lives. He recently just went down to New York to see Noah with Noah's dad. So I think we all know that he was a big part of our life and where we ended up. He was good for us growing up. He was a good hockey player when he played, so he took his tools.
Very smart.
Yeah, he took his tools and helped us out. Yeah. But at the same time, I think the way he pushed us, he was brutally honest with us if we weren't good enough, where we had to be. But overall, there's so many things that we can say about Rodney and how much he helped us as a group.
And throw in Scotty Bridges, he would add a little bit of fire to it too.
Scotty was the same way. He helped us out a lot. But as I said, he was also one to be the first one to tell us if we weren't playing good enough hockey. So those two growing up definitely helped us out quite a bit.
Nice. So you progressed, you moved on to the major junior route. You had a stint out in Notre Dame, and you follow your brother. A bit of a pattern emerging here, following your brother Ryan to Rimouski. So you play 4 seasons in Rimouski. You play as a 20 in Gatineau. Partway through the year, you decide to come back home and play with the Caps in 2020. Can you maybe talk us through a little bit what factored into that decision for you to come back and play with the Caps, finish off your 20-year-old year?
Yeah, my 4 years in Rimouski were great. I had a great opportunity to play with some really good players like Alex Lafreniere. So that city and organization was great to me, and then I got traded to Gatineau at the Q draft ending my 20 year. Right away in Gatineau, we weren't off to a good start. I think we were stuck in the bottom of the standings. Things weren't going well. So I seek an opportunity back in Summerside to come back, play with some buddies that I've had for my whole life, like Brody MacArthur, Cal Muirhead, Brody McMillan, guys like that I grew up playing with.
Right.
And it just so happened that they were ranked second in the country at the time too. So it was a work in progress to get me to come home. In the end, ended up working out, but obviously the COVID hit and kind of put a damper on things. But overall, I was happy with the decision to finally have that opportunity to come home and play with friends.
Kind of come full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So as part of that, you decided to commit to UPEI again. Following your brother's footsteps, Ryan plays here, a great defenseman for UPEI. Was it kind of a given that if you were going to go the university route, that this is where you were going to end up, or did you consider other options?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a place I always wanted to come to. Growing up in PEI and coming to watch the games as a kid. Yeah. I think it's a very underrated league. People would say it's fast hockey. It's fun to watch. So, me and Forby met the summer heading into my 20-year-old year. About the potential of me coming, and then halfway through the year, I made the decision. As he said, having my brother come here definitely helped my decision out quite a bit. With knowing Forby, the coach, and the school definitely helped out quite a bit. But I think everything worked out, and then obviously at the time when me and Forby were meeting, Nationals was brought up, so that was definitely something that caught the eye. And it was obviously supposed to be my first year, but now I'm in my third year, and it's finally here, so it's an exciting time.
And if you think about that, Carson, it's probably not a bad thing that the whole U Cup got deferred.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at the maturity of the team, or maturity of growth like you, probably not a bad thing. Maybe you feel a little bit more ready now than you would have been a few years ago?
No, I think that's definitely true. I think that COVID year, as much as it wasn't fun, it definitely helped our group out quite a bit.
Sure.
We had to come close together and find ways to make the year work. To make sure we're not falling behind teams. Yeah. Looking back at it now, it was tough when we got the news that we weren't going to have it, but I think as a group right now, we're playing good hockey right now, so I think we're working towards the right direction of Nationals.
Good. So thinking about your family, parents often play a big role. Your parents obviously played a big role in your family as well too, producing two high-level hockey players. Maybe speak to a little bit about what they were like as hockey parents and how they helped shape your and Ryan's hockey career.
Yeah, no, they were, they're your typical hockey parents. Your dad's my dad's the kind of one that, if you're not playing the way he wants you to, he'll tell you right away.
He was honest too.
Yeah, he was honest too. But yeah, they were the best. They supported Ryan and I throughout everything, whether that was Notre Dame, going the Q route, or coming to school. They support us through it all.
Right.
And then we have an older sister, Emily, who lives out in Edmonton right now, and she was also a very big supporter of us. She growing up, I'm sure she got to miss out on quite a few sleepovers and stuff like that with her friends to come watch me and Ryan in the rink. But overall, my parents, my sister have been my greatest supporters throughout hockey so far. Good.
So the U Cup's not the only big event coming here for hockey this year. Of course, Canada Winter Games are coming in February and March. You were part of that team in 2013? 2015, sorry. With Jeremy, Thomas Casey, all those guys we talked about earlier. And you had a pretty good Canada Winter Games, if I remember correctly. What sort of advice would you have for those kids who are going to be representing Team PEI here at home for the Canada Games?
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique experience. It's something it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, especially for someone at that age. And I think to be able to host it here in PEI will be something that the kids will never forget. But I think just the biggest thing would be to embrace the opportunity. It is a week long, but it goes by really fast. Enjoy the out of the rink activities. Be sure to go watch the other sporting events and stuff like that. But overall, it's crazy. Looking back at it now, I was watching Ontario versus Alberta in the finals. you know, there's a handful of NHL players on those two teams, like Nick Suzuki, you know, Ty Smith. So there's some high level hockey players at that age. So I think just you know, enjoying the experience. But at the same time, you're there for a job, and that's, you know, to do the best that you guys can and represent your province in the right way. Good.
So this is going to be your last year, right? You're graduating. COVID again, you know, expedited that process. What's the future hold for Carson MacKinnon?
You know, I think that's a long ways away. Pro hockey's definitely been something that's been in the back of my head. You know, it's been a dream of mine since I was a kid to you know, to play pro hockey. But I mean, we still have a big second half here coming up with the group we have with nationals and stuff like that. So you know, pro is definitely something that's crossed my mind. But you know, there's still some business to take care of. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is you'll have the degree in the back pocket. I like your attitude. Keep taking care of business for now. Focus on the task at hand, because it's certainly been exciting. Been fun to watch you, Carson, grow as a player too. I really enjoyed it. You're a good Island boy. Like seeing the Island boys do well. Continue good success to you in the second half.
Thank you.
Thanks, bud.